Hey, what's up? In this video, I'm going to go over 3 very common mistakes that early stage crypto investors make. And I know this because I have made the mistakes myself. And I also know this because we've educated over 1,000 early stage crypto investors now, and I see this time and time again. So the first mistake that you need to avoid is being a frantic Freddy. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the person that is always searching for that next thing. They're frantically looking for the next coin, for the next trade, for the next thing, and they always feel like they need to be in and out of every position, and they never let their positions actually play out. Ask yourself, how much time do I have? How much experience do I have? How much conviction in the positions do I have? And I like to separate my portfolio based on what is important to me by having my longer term portfolio in a place that's just earning interest or it's in a cold wallet. Then I have some like medium term things where I'm like, okay, this is like a really long swing trade that's playing out over an entire cycle. And then I have some of my allocation in a shorter term portfolio, and that's the amount of capital I can be like frantic with, right? I can trade in and out of, I can swing trade over a week, I can day trade if I want to. I honestly don't day trade much because I focus on other things. But it's really important to like let your positions play out. Don't feel like you always need to be doing something with every single position, or like you're missing out on this coin or this trade. Let things play out, because patience pays, and financial markets are just a vehicle to pass wealth from the impatient to the patient. I believe that's a quote by Warren Buffett. Stick that in your mind. The second mistake is being a break-even berry. Now, what do I mean? It's the person that is always trying to break even on every position. People always ask, okay, I don't want to hold this position anymore. When should I cut it? I'm at a loss. I want to wait until I break even. The answer is there's no true answer, but here's how I like to look at it. Number one, if you're holding a position and you no longer fundamentally believe in the project because of XYZ, maybe the CEO left, maybe the on-chain metrics are dying, maybe the active wallets, whatever it is. If it's a top layer 1 protocol, like for example, Cardano, right? It had 0 traction after it launched smart contracts. I held that thing from like 12 cents all the way up over $2, so like $2.46. And I finally got rid of it because I saw all of the back-end analytics after they released smart contracts, and it was really sad. Their total value locked, it was under 100 million, and they had 30 billion in the coin. Give you an idea of what that looks like on Phantom, right? They have like 12 billion total value locked, and the market cap is 5 billion. So there's all these metrics that were pointing to the Cardano being a bad investment, right? But a lot of people bought the top and they didn't want to get rid of it, and now it's well under $1. It's like 80 cents. And people will just keep holding on to it because they're trying to be a break-even berry. You cannot just wait for everything to break even. And the reason is because the market does not care what price you bought it for. No one cares when your break-even price is. So trying to tell yourself that I'm going to sell it once I break even, it makes no logical sense, because the price is not going to go to that region for a reason other than the only reason you have is you want to break even. Right? So you got to avoid that. And then also another thing I would say is like, there's a significant opportunity cost to you not cutting losses. So if you cut a loss, obviously talk to your own tax advisor, but you can use that loss to offset other gains in your portfolio. Okay, so that's one strategy. It's called tax loss harvesting. The second thing, and even more important thing, is the opportunity cost. A lot of people never even think about the opportunity cost of, oh, if I keep holding my $10,000 in Cardano, and it keeps going down, not only am I losing money, but I could have taken that $10,000 that maybe is 8 grand now because it went down, right? So I could have taken that 8 grand, taken a $2,000 loss, put that 8 grand into something like Luna that just went up 130%, and I would have had 130% gain on that 8 grand, right? So I would have been almost close to like 20 grand. It's like, you got to start thinking about those types of things, right? Where could I place this capital somewhere else if I just let go of my ego and the emotion that you tie to that project? A lot of people have emotions tied to a meme coin that made them a bunch of money, and they don't want to sell it because they feel like, wow, this thing made me a lot of money and I want to be like loyal to it. But like, that's not how you need to operate as an investor. You need to operate unemotionally and determine and make objective decisions with your own cash. So don't be a break-even berry. And the last one to avoid is being a permanent Patrick. And what do I mean by that is telling yourself that you're never ever going to do anything, or you're always going to hold XYZ. A lot of rookie investors, they say that they are always going to be tied to a certain project, they'll always be holding onto this. I am completely open to changing everything in my portfolio at any given time based on data. So when the data changes, which is almost every single day, you need to be open to change. That doesn't mean you need to be frantic about it and switch everything all the time on the slightest bit of change within inside of a position or from on-chain metrics or technicals or fundamentals, but it means that you consistently review things. So like, for example, if you're more of that longer term investor that I was kind of alluding to, that's more of a passive investor, you're dollar cost averaging over time, maybe you just review that once a quarter, right? You look at your positions, you look at the on-chain metrics, you look at the technicals, you look at the fundamentals, you look at the team behind the project, you look at the overall sentiment, and you say, do I still want to hold 15% of my portfolio in this? Maybe it's just, I want to reduce it to 10%. Maybe you want to cut the entire thing, okay? A lot of the positions that I held 2 years ago, I no longer hold any of those. So, and the reason is because I'm completely open to change. I see this on Twitter all the time. I'll post something about XYZ, position, and then I'll talk, like maybe I'm saying the market's bullish right now, and then 3 days later it's bearish. Well, because it is, because the data changed. And the people, they don't understand that. They think you're like a liar, or they think you're incorrect, or you're consistently changing everything. And it is because you have to be open to change as you get new data. So really be open to change. Never have a permanent mindset on any given position, any given strategy, because everything's changing. We just printed 50% more cash in US dollars over the past 2 years, and that is completely changing the way, not just in crypto, but the way that every traditional investor has ever thought about investing in the history of the world. And you wouldn't know that that change is happening until it occurs. And then once it occurs, then you take the new data and you say, okay, what makes sense now? And then maybe something completely different makes sense. So never be stuck to doing one thing as an investor, because if you don't change, you're gonna die. Anyways, I hope you got value from that video. If you did, let me know by hitting the like button. If you got consistent value from my channel, why not hit subscribe? It is absolutely free. And if you think there's someone that is a frantic Freddy or what did we talk about today? A permanent Perry, or what was the other one? The break-even Barry. If you know any of those people, if you know Barry, Larry, Freddie, Patrick, or Cherry, make sure to send them this video and share it with the link right below this. All right, thanks so much. I'll see you here in this next one.